If you have PCOS, stop eating dairy, stop eating sweet, go gluten-free, don't eat bakery products. So many things, floating on the internet. But let me tell you, there is absolutely no genuine scientific evidence available or no proper research available that backs up these claims.
Joshi from India.com and the health site, and welcome to another episode of Saying Yes to a Healthy Living. So an estimated 1 in 5 women, that is 20% of Indian women, suffer from PCOS. PCOS, also known as polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a hormonal disorder in reproductive women. While it is a common diagnosis in women presenting with infertility, PCOS is a syndrome and not a disease. So today we have with us Dr. Harsha Joshi, who's the Program Director at INFS, and we will discuss all about PCOS and PCODs and bust all common myths around it. Welcome, Dr. Harsha, to India.com and the health site. So first of all, I would want to know that what is, because we hear a lot of things around PCOS and PCODs. So first, I would want you to give a brief explanation as to exactly what PCOS and PCOD is.
Hello, everyone. And yes, PCOD and PCOS is something which is becoming a huge concern nowadays, considering the amount of women that are constantly getting affected with this. There is a difference between these two entities. So while both of these are primarily disorders that are affecting the ovary, PCOS is much more complex in terms of the hormonal involvement, the hormonal disturbances that it is causing in the body. PCOS is more complex, and that is why it is called as a syndrome. Syndrome means a collection of symptoms that is occurring because of the various hormonal imbalances that are happening in the body. And if we, talk about in medical terms, what would be the difference between the two? So the very important differences in the way a doctor is able to see the appearance of the ovary in sonography, which would usually be enlarged with a greater number of, follicles and more volume. This is the observation in PCOS, whereas in PCOD, your sonography may actually not show enlarged ovaries, and the amount of follicles may also be much less. Their size may also be much less. So this is the primary difference when it comes to PCOS and PCOD. PCOS is much more complex and involves a lot of symptoms that arise out of hormonal imbalance.
Right, doctor. So, doctor, now I want you to explain as to the symptoms, as to, if a woman would want to know that is she suffering from PCOS or PCOD. So how can she, get to know about it? So what are the basic symptoms?
Yes, so every woman should, really know about the signs and symptoms of PCOS. And September being the PCOS awareness month, I'm glad to be sharing this with women. So, primarily we can split this into 3 categories. The first category would be of those signs and symptoms that arise because of increased androgens or the male hormones in the body. The second would be those that arise because of the disturbed ovulation. And lastly would be those that a doctor will be able to see on the pathological diagnosis, that is the sonography. So talking about the first category of signs and symptoms that is arising because of an increased male hormone, testosterone. So usually the signs and symptoms that are, more common presentations in males. Females start demonstrating those signs and symptoms. For example, something known as hirsutism, that is increased facial hair, increased body hair. So girls start getting, more hair over the side locks, our upper lips, our chin, arms, our legs. The skin can show more acne because of the increased oil secretion from your sebaceous glands. So on the face as well as even on the back.
Right.
And there is something known as acanthosis nigricans, which is associated with insulin resistance, actually, which is darkening, dark patches of skin. So you see that around, your neck, or basically wherever the skin folds are present, like your underarms, groins. So over here, there is a darkening or dark patches of skin that are developing. The hair loss is there, and that too in a male pattern. So, the hairline would start receding. You would start noticing some thinning of hair over the crown. And all these are features which are generally associated with higher testosterone, which is the male hormone. Now, coming to those signs and symptoms which happen because of the disturbed ovulation. Okay. Mainly, what is happening in PCOS is that the ovary is not able to, release the ovum. So your menstrual cycle becomes unovulatory. The follicle is not able to mature fully. So you either get irregular periods, there is a lot of gap between two periods, or in some cases for months together there is no menstruation. So that has to be induced via the treatment. Right. Also, there is a possibility of heavy menses, because when you don't get menses for a very long period of time, the lining of your uterus is going on building and building. And finally, when you will get your period, there is a possibility of a heavy flow. Right. And also, Joshi, because there is no ovulation, women of reproductive age struggle with fertility issues. So they may have a difficulty in conceiving, and they have to, take help of assisted reproductive technologies for that. So this is the thing. And the third feature, as I mentioned, is something which is the sonography findings, wherein you are able to see the appearance of cysts in the ovaries. You are able to see that the ovarian size has increased, the volume has increased. So yeah, these are the primary signs and symptoms that are associated with PCOS, and of course insulin resistance and obesity. These are two things which are very, very closely associated with the polycystic ovarian syndrome.
So doctor, now my next question to you would be that is there any age that women can tend to have this issue, or there's no age bar?
So, Joshi, this is a very wide range of age group that is affected by PCOS. Even young girls, who are at menarche, whose menses have just begun as young as 11 or 12 years old, beginning from there right up to the age of 45. The incidence is pretty high. The incidence is anywhere between 3 to 20%. Of course, it is higher in women of a reproductive age group, because that is when you're really trying to conceive, and it becomes most noticeable when you start struggling with your fertility issues. So yes, the range, the statistically 20% commonest among the women of reproductive age group, but does not mean that other women are completely safe from it. It affects adolescent girls equally. It affects even women who are in their 40s, 45. It affects them too. So everyone needs to be very aware of all the symptomatology and get themselves tested at the right time.
So doctor, now there are a lot of myths also around the PCOS and PCODs. So if you could bust that for our viewers.
So, the biggest myth is that only obese or overweight women will get PCOS, and those who are lean are completely safe from it. But, well, that's not the case. So there is a possibility of PCOS even in lean women, especially lean women, who have insulin resistance, who are dealing with these kind of issues. In them, there is completely a possibility of developing PCOS. So it's a myth that only if you are overweight or obese, you will get PCOS. Even if you are lean, there is still a possibility of PCOS. And the second, very common myth is that if you have PCOS, stop eating dairy, stop eating sweet, go gluten-free, don't eat bakery products. So many things, floating on the internet. But let me tell you, there is absolutely no genuine scientific evidence available, or no proper research available that backs up these claims. And interestingly, I also come across a lot of advertisements over the social media, wherein people claim to do seed cycling,
Right.
and there are even kits available nowadays, saying that buy this PCOS kit and have these seeds and you will get cured. Well, there is absolutely no scientific or research based evidence to back up these claims. The so-called seeds that are there, in these kits, so sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, or flax seeds, chia seeds, they are nutritious on their own, good sources of healthy fats, fiber, protein when it comes to something like pumpkin or chia. But at the same time, they do not have any impact on the hormonal levels or the issues that arise in PCOS. No clinical trials have proven that. So these are nothing but myths and more of gimmicky sort of things, which I would strongly suggest people to stay away from. So yeah, I guess these were the three biggest myths that I wanted to bust.
So, doctor, can you recommend certain dietary and fitness tips as to the women who have PCOS and PCODs can inculcate into their lifestyle, daily lifestyle, and treat PCOS and PCODs?
So we talk about research back nutrition and fitness tips. The number one tip that I would recommend is if you are not already into a healthy fat percentage, get into a healthy fat percentage, not by crash dieting, but by going into good amount of guided, well analyzed and well framed diet, proper caloric deficit, which is not too extreme. Get yourself into a healthy body fat range, which would be, let's say, around 20 to 25% for women. Medically, below 30% is also acceptable, but a healthy range would be between 20 to 25% for the body fat. And as far as the BMI is concerned, make sure that your BMI is below 25. So again, between 18 to 25 is a healthy range, considered a healthy range. So that would be, a very important thing. If you are lean and having PCOS, then try to maintain your weight. Try not to your weight for the scale to go up. That would be the protocol for management. Particularly, I would like to speak of resistance training, which has been scientifically proven to have very good benefits when it comes to improving the resting metabolism, your muscle mass, and helping you with a good fat loss while preserving the muscle and strengthening your bones. So definitely resistance training is something that I would advocate to all the women out there. Yes, primarily it would be these tips. So have a healthy diet and make sure you regularly exercise. And if you don't enjoy resistance training per se,
Right.
any form is good. You enjoy Zumba, running, walking, yoga, whatever suits you, but keep yourself really active.
So the doctor clearly exclaims that, to have a healthy lifestyle and to, treat PCOS and PCODs, you need to remain active. Active is the key. You need to include in some of the other activities such as yoga or, a Zumba. But, resistance training, if you can do, it would help a lot because that has been scientifically proven. And, a healthy balanced diet is what she recommends. So, doctor, we've spoken about all the treatments, symptoms and everything. But, these days, certain kind of issues, especially among women, leave an impact on their mental health also, because if somebody is gaining weight due to PCOS, or if somebody is losing weight, or somebody's, as you mentioned, have dark patches on the skin, or or have acne, so it literally goes to the head and they face mental breakdown also. So what do you have to say on that, how they can maintain their sanity?
Toshi, for all such women, the first thing I want to tell them is that every woman is more than just her physical appearance. Physical appearance is just one of the many things. Do not associate your identity your self concept only with your physical appearance. There's a lot more to you in terms of the kind of person you are, or the
Right.
achievements that you've had, or the love and affection that you give to your family or your friends. The other very important thing is, see, this is a reversible condition. It is not something that cannot be treated. It is very much reversible. And you can always see a good dermatologist, cosmetologist, if your appearance really bothers you. Follow good skincare routine. There are lots of treatments available for acne, for hirsutism too, and that should surely help you boost your confidence. But don't let this bog you down, because this is reversible. Go for proper medical treatment, go for a good healthy lifestyle, and you'll surely be able to overcome this.
So, doctor, there's another thing that, is PCO or PCOD is curable? Is it curable or not? There are certain debates happening around it. So if we maintain a healthy lifestyle, exercise, and, take care of ourselves and maintain a healthy lifestyle is what really matters, and not doing something for a day and not following it. So what is your take on that? That if we maintain a lifestyle, so can we cure PCOS and PCODs?
Of course, Toshi, this depends on the stage at which your PCOS is, and how are your sonography reports, how is your hormonal assay. I would always say that, take a physician opinion. But yes, in most cases, especially in the initial stages, PCOS is reversible. It is a myth that every single PCOS requires surgery. It is not so. If you are in the initial stages, if you are at a stage where lifestyle changes, the correct nutrition and exercise can help you, it is definitely reversible, and it's not something you need to suffer with for the rest of your life.
Right, doctor. Thank you so much for taking out time for our viewers and explaining the differences between PCOS and PCODs, and telling them that, maintaining a lifestyle, if you maintain a lifestyle, you can definitely cure this, and you need to exercise. And if you feel any of the symptoms that you feel physically or mentally, you should consult the doctor. Thank you so much once again for coming and speaking to us.